I want to talk a little bit not only about what we did so far in the course, but I also want to take you and the students one step further. This is the first time I did this presentation, so bear with me. But first of all, I think that this quote really sums it up. It's a quote by Margaret Mead. It says, "Never doubt that a small group of people, committed citizens, can change the world." It's poignant because at this moment in time, I think we underestimate the power of the individual and the power of the individual leveraging technology. And so we created with Aya and Afoma this Metaverse design thinking course because we believe that it would be the future for a lot of important developments, and it has intersections on all technologies. What we try to do in the course is to provide an insight into emerging technologies such as VR and blockchain, and of course Metaverse, because there's a lot of things that are involved with Metaverse. I wanted to have the students to have the opportunity to go from an idea to actually executing that in a digital space, to engage with software and tools that are off the shelf, but easy to use, and to create 3D assets and build simple online environments for the first time. And most of them did not have any experience with developing anything, let alone designing. So the achievement of the students was enormous. And the ones that I really want to point out, students like Gifat, they really pushed themselves to get to the next level. And it was very impressive to see all this process. So as a tutor, I'm obviously very excited what my students have created. And in order to do so, we really want to go deep into the cultural history of each individual's cultural heritage, because we have to understand that we are designing not from a Western perspective. We have to be thinking from a non-Western perspective and find it as valuable as any perspective. And so finding our roots and finding our cultural heritage and using that to create new and innovation and new models and innovation, I think is paramount to this new development. Yes? And to build an environment for their community, for their own community, and that inspires others and younger generation of Africans to engage with online communities and provide shelter and safety, and a new society could be born from that. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about, because at this moment, it's clear that these metaverses will play a significant role. Everybody knows that, because the next step in the evolution of computers and the evolution of internet is going more in depth, in more visually, affect us in a way that we could never perceive at this moment, but we are sure that it will affect the way that we buy and explore, recreate, meet each other, and it will be an enormous market. It's a multi-trillion market with an N, but God bless me for making one spelling mistake sometimes. But it will be an enormous market and valuable for all. Valuable especially for a continent that can take part in this economy. And I think Afoma is the organization at this moment that has the insight and the focus to provide this for a wide range of people on the continent. So commercial use cases are prevalent, but I just want to show you in this short keynote another view. We see in the world a lot of things change. AI is going to be very big, but also other algorithms are deeply informing us in human society. We're being nudged, we're being shapen, we think differently because of these algorithms. And this is something we have to be aware of. There's enormous economical segregation. The gap between the poor and the wealthy has never been bigger. We see the rise of crypto and decentralized economy versus the power of the traditional entities, the countries, the banks that are creating their own CBDCs. We see a lot of people moving all over the world. because all of the opportunities that remote working and mobile provide them. And that's one thing I think is going to start another movement, another shift. And this is the first time I talked about this, but I believe this. If we're looking at states, and not only African states, but also Western states, we see that most states have failed to safeguard the principles on which they were built. Every country starts with a deep belief and a deep sense of righteousness and truth. But in the end, most people are disappointed, and most people wish that things would be better. For most of the people, states don't work. And for just a few people, they do. We have to acknowledge that it's difficult to reform a state because the history proves us that conditioning and ideologies are deeply entrenched in the way we think, in the way we move, in the way we direct ourselves forward. There are some situations where ourselves, is this the way that society is and should be? Are the basic moral principles of our culture being instilled? And I want to say that, is it future-proof? Are these laws and things that we've seen and thought of in the past still relevant today? I'm very inspired by the book, The Network State by Balaji Srinivasan. And I think it came at a time when there was an interest in Metaverse application worldwide. I think it will have a major effect on the way we think about things. One of the conclusions is, and then I agree with this, we can create new states. We can create and come together because we want to achieve certain goals in life. And we find other people that are in alignment with that. We can create new tribes, people coming from Nigeria, from the Netherlands, from the United States or Canada. They have some similar values and things in common, and they want their best for their community and for the people around them. We can create with these communities a new tribe, a new slate, and we can build and shape them whatever the way we want. Technology allows us to do so. Blockchain and Metaverse are fundamental in this. And you say, well, this might be a little bit too naive or ambitious, but think about blockchain. Yes, this was a post by Satoshi Nakamoto. In the beginning, nobody knew what it was. And now it's legal tender in multiple countries, and it will grow and be legal tender in other different countries. So you see, these things can be achieved. And I think, and I hope that my students, when they build these metaverses, and when they design new ways and new modes of interaction, new ways of communication, and I hope that I've instilled and inspired them to do so. And I hope my students will understand that metaverses could be the embodiment of a new state, a new online community, a new tribe, and the visualization of new laws, new order. And that's what I hope, that we'll start new communities together, will be stronger. We are at the beginning of a new understanding of society, how we reshape our understanding of togetherness and our perspective of self, virtual means. There's a quote of myself, but I thought it was very valuable when I wrote it. Thank you so much. And thank you all for the opportunity to have me here. I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Well, thank you for giving us an insight and of course an overview